What's going on, everybody? Steve here. So if you're getting this email, you are all set for simulation day, and that's approaching quick, but also the race is approaching quick. Ironman Wisconsin 70.3, we're 12 weeks away. So I hope everybody's feeling good, excited, nervous. Nerves are good. You should be nervous. It's a huge event. So the purpose of this is just to give you a couple ideas of what you should be thinking about in this final 12 weeks. So one, this is your build phase. You are officially in that build phase. And the build phase will last anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. So all of June, all of July, and a little bit of August. Because you don't want to be training as hard as you can a week before, 2 weeks before, and even 3 weeks before. A lot of the slow taper, the reduction of some volume and intensity is happening at that point. So the first thing is outlining for the next 4 weeks. Ideally, these are all generalizations, but because everybody's different and doing different things, but ideally you're thinking about, say for the bike, you want to be focusing on building out more endurance. The weather is nice. You should be motivated to do this. So the goal number one is to build out volume of your long rides. And you don't want to over obsess about accomplishing a certain speed, accomplishing a certain power. A lot of it is logging bigger miles than what you are used to because you're doing an Ironman. So you need the big miles. The other one for your key session or key sessions is building muscle strength, specific muscle strength. Ironman Wisconsin is hilly. It has a lot of short, steep hills that really do stress the muscle fiber. And a lot of times cramping later in the race, cramping in the run is an effect of not having the strength required to handle the demands of this race. So if that means doing hill repeats, if that means doing hilly long rides, if that means if you don't have hills, doing some very hard zone 5 VO2 max, doing some low cadence efforts, 45, 50, 55, 60 RPMs at a high intensity to really simulate that muscle fiber tension. That'll be very, very important to do at least once a week to get that in. So your key session each week should look to target some muscle stress as you get through that. And then the third thing right now, because you're building volume, is start to establish your nutrition and hydration plan. Huge. Because your confidence is going to come from how well you do for the long rides. And if every long ride is a struggle, if you're bonking and low energy and thinking negative thoughts, you're running out of carbohydrate. So that starts with the day before, consuming more carbohydrates, anywhere from 5, 6, 7 grams per body weight in kilograms of carbs would be a good idea how to load the system. And then during the ride, looking to consume anywhere from 300 to 400 calories an hour. So we use raw endurance. So that could be an idea of how to use that. But you want to be consuming at least 300 calories an hour. So that's calories. And then your fluid intake is very individual. But ideally, you always want to be above 16 ounces per hour. Some people are upward of 30 ounces per hour. So that's 2 parts of the triangle. And the third part is your sodium. Carbs, fluid, sodium. And so sodium content, the average person is going to be sweating around 900 milligrams per liter. Okay, liter of fluid loss, 900 milligrams. So if you sweat less than a liter per hour, you don't need to consume that much. If you consume around a liter per hour, you want to be taking around 900 milligrams of sodium. But the nice thing about raw or tailwind or other stuff is that each scoop has 300 milligrams. So if you just do 3 scoops in one bottle, 300 calories, 900 milligrams, and you have your fluid. So that's a nice option to go with. But start to establish that nutrition plan now so you can get the confidence for that. The run, Same thing, building volume. You got to start building volume of the long run. Not every run needs to be increased. That's a big mistake. But the long run, the most specific run, start to build up that volume. And so think about the demands of Ironman. The marathon. Most people do not run the whole marathon. So you want to start to think about doing some long runs in a walk-run fashion. If that's 1 mile on, 30 seconds off, or 2 miles on, 1 minute walk. But you want to start to establish the rhythm in which you think you're going to run this thing. And the last thing you want to do is just go till you blow, because once you blow, you're walking. But if you can start to establish that rhythm, and that rhythm could be a lot about using aid stations as that little bit of a walk break. But the run is kind of like that ticking time bomb to where the glycogen depletion really hits bottom. And if you can use aid stations, if you can bring things with you that get the carbohydrates up, that'll keep your marathon much more consistent. But start to establish the rhythm of what the marathon will look like, and be okay doing some walk running for a marathon, I think, or for your training. I think you might actually really enjoy that through that. So, and the third thing, like the bike, start to establish strength. The Ironman Wisconsin run, I don't think it's talked about enough. It is hilly. The new changes that they had last year, I think, made the run course a little bit more hard than what it has been with Observatory. Observatory was still very hard, but I think you need to be ready for strength uphill. So if that's doing your hill repeats, 20, 30 seconds, 1 minute hill repeats, doing some hilly long runs, but really getting your body prepared for, again, like that muscle fiber really tension. That's important. The second thing, I know that first one was huge, already 7 minutes in. The second thing is, don't think that every weekend needs to be a stocked long ride. The first 3 weeks are 4 hours, the next 3 weeks are 5 hours, the next 3 weeks are 6 hours. It does not always need to look like that. And I found that a lot of times, like, that's a nice recipe for burnout. So one way that you could look at that is, say, week 1 of your plan, okay? It could just be a standard long ride. 3, 4 hours, 5 hours at like a zone 2 power, zone 2 heart rate, just steady, really steady. The second weekend could be 3-hour long ride, but like, say, a 1 hour run off of it, or an 80-minute run off of it, to really practice the transition into a long run. The third weekend could be an over distance ride. So if week 1 was 5 hours, then week 3 would be 6 hours. Really trying to really overshoot the distance to really stress the aerobic system. And a lot of times that keeps the motivation for the long ride more, because not every weekend you're really grinding that out, because you want to get to race day pretty excited to race, and making sure you do include some very long off the bike runs are very important, but only doing them every second week or every third week or every fourth week, because they are very hard with that. So the third one, make this under 10 minutes, be okay taking an off day. If that's every week, if it's every Monday, or if it's every Friday, or take an off day every other week or every third week, but be okay taking an off day in the build phase. You are going to be tired. The long weekends are really exhausting. So getting to Monday and knowing I have an off day, it kind of resets things really nicely, and it keeps the motivation for Tuesday even higher. Or taking that off day Friday and knowing I'm going to restore the energy for a big weekend. Some of people's best Ironmans happen when they have an off day every week or every other week. So be okay with that if you need it. And I really do encourage it, because you want to get to the race very motivated. And I don't like the thinking you're not training for an Ironman correctly if you're exhausted all the time. If you're exhausted all of the time, you're not doing it right. You're either training too much, you're eating too little, but really be okay taking some off time. That's it. So if you have any questions for Simulation Day, just send me an email, reply to the email. But hope this helps. And if you have any more questions you want me to answer, because I'm going to send more of these as we go, let me know.